Hello, I'm Foon, and I write the website hustlecastle.site. We're currently in the middle of a holiday challenge event, and there's a new event artifact, a little snowman, and I just love a new artifact, so I figured I would do some tests and record them. Here, I'm going to start off with a really simple test of just my EOL wearing the arty against himself. And this isn't going to tell us too much about it, but it'll show the animations, and we can, see what it looks like. So in more interesting tests, we'll know what I'm looking for. Let's read the description one more time. Ice Spirit. The fighter summons. Summons means this is going to be a minion that could trigger on enemy minion summon artifacts. So if that's something you care about, then this is already probably a no-go for you. For me, I don't worry too much about enemy minion arties. I used to run a squad like that myself, and I still pay a little attention to that. But some of the key gear has gotten nerfed, and it's either not so effective right now or just not particularly in fashion. Continuing. The fighter summons a snowman that throws snowballs at nearby enemies. Each snowball deals 50,000 magic damage. Alright, I can see from this slow duel that my snowmen are throwing one snowball per second. So a normal attack speed if snowballs were a weapon type. 50,000 is really good DPS. That's better than any mage, and this is magic damage. For context, I looked it up, and the number 2 player in the world, his Ash has 25,500 magic damage, so this is almost double that. Alright, next. After taking 3 consecutive hits, the target is frozen. While frozen, it's unable to move or attack for 2 seconds. Also, the cooldown times of the target's gear abilities and artifact abilities are increased by 2 seconds. So everything but ancient set abilities is slowed down 2 seconds. That's really good, but slowdown is really hard to test. You have to just kind of try it out and see if it feels better. Okay, the snowman lasts for 8 seconds, then melts. So 8 seconds, that's 8 50,000 damage snowballs. So in total, each snowman is dealing 400,000 damage. Though that's damage dealt, of course, not direct damage, we won't see those kind of numbers in the stats. Okay. Then it melts and heals 3 random allies, restoring 75,000 health. 75,000 is not insignificant, that's something. And a 17-second cooldown. That's long, but also typical for this kind of big effect, event artifact. And here in this test, the first trigger is happening just 8 seconds into battle, which is good. I had a clanmate who, when he was still using the dragon artifacts, would joke how much he hated them because the dragon would just show up for the closing credits when the battle was over. And I had it then too, and it really is true. 17 seconds is a long time in the arena. But 8 is good. 8 we can work with. I mean, it sounds pretty good. Sounds like it has potential. Let's look back at what's happening over here in the duel. The snowmen are getting summoned. We see them throwing them at each other. They could be a little cuter, but they're still cute. The cooldown time, the snowmen are lasting the 8 seconds. Sometimes it looks like 9, but that might just be how the seconds fall. And the cooldown time is looking at as more than the 17 seconds, but that's probably the snowman working against the other snowman. So it's going to be increasing the cooldown time of itself, of the opponent's side. If I'm watching battles like this, just really boring. And it is interesting that they're getting out of sync. So it looks like the one on the left somehow got the advantage on the one on the right. And so it keeps triggering a little more and slowing down the one on the right a little more. I always love a new artifact because I run an Illusionist squad so that whatever artifact I give the fighter for the Illusionist clones, that artifact is going to get triggered every time the Illusionist does its ability of cloning that fighter. So roughly every 7 seconds if everyone's alive. So because I have this Illusionist-based squad, for me every artifact is pretty exciting because it has the possibility to make a bigger change in my squad than, normally an artifact does. If I had to predict, I think this is going to be a good artifact, but not like a game-changing, everyone has to use it artifact. So now we're getting closer to the end of the battle. You could see these snowmen are showing up for the 8 seconds like they're supposed to, and then they're disappearing for closer to like 20 seconds, but that makes sense because it's ability. And I've turned on the numbers for anyone who's able to follow that, but for me, I'm not good enough at following battles to to be able to make sense of those numbers, but if you are, there they are. So I'll just finish up this battle, recording all the times that it activates. The test isn't going to tell us too much, just kind of show that it's working in the most basic way. And like I said, kind of see what the animations are, and so I might have a chance of recognizing it when I'm running a more real test with a full squad, which is really hard to follow everything that happens in that context. All right, finally it's done. Now, the battle stats, I mean, the snowman did 21% of damage, 18% of damage, and we summoned 9 and 7 of them. In that perspective, it looks quite good, but for a full 2-minute battle to do 2 million damage, I mean, it's not bad for an artifact. Artifacts, even the damage ones, tend to do kind of meh damage. So it's nice to see it working a little more. And let's see, did we see all the things? Did we see all the abilities we expected to see? The dealing the damage? Yeah, I mean, acted like a fighter who was only live half the time, doing 50,000 damage a snowball. Slowing down the opponent. That's really hard to know. It's really hard to know if that happens. It's hard to test for that. All right, now let's add a couple more fighters and to see how the damage compares, because the damage and healing are supposed to be happening to multiple opponents and multiple allies. So a test, just throw in a couple more fighters. This should be a little more interesting. And this one, I'm going to speed it up because we're really interested in the stats. We've seen the animation now. Personally, there's nothing else that I can learn by just watching it more slowly. I can see that the snowman is showing up, so whoever has it, hasn't died. He's showing up pretty consistently. I guess it'll be a timeout as well, me against me. Well, this mini version, just a couple extra fighters anyway. All right, let's see how we did now in the battle stats. Game's always a little slow. Okay. So again, it's just me against me. Okay, now one side summoned 8 snowmen, the other side got 10 through. I saw that in the other test as well, that one side managed to get the advantage over the other one and was slowing down. And then once it slowed it down, it kept slowing it down. Yeah, 7% damage. It's okay. I mean, it's not bad for an artifact. Now, the test I'm a little more interested in is adding in an illusionist. So here I'm going to move the snowman over to the fighter with the highest DPS. It's still this kind of mini test without my full squad. And so in that case, it's this Pal Storm that normally isn't even in my real squad, but for this kind of just a test, I want a nice long battle, give everyone a chance basically, because these are fighters that live. So another me versus me battle. But now I have the Illusionist. You can see she's the only mage, or she's actually, there's 2 mages, but she's there by herself in the back. And she should be cloning the Palace Storm. And then if she does it every seconds, we'll get a snowman every 7 seconds. But it's really hard with all those shields and explosions. I can tell there's a snowman, but I'm not great at following the battle to know exactly what's happening. Illusionist down. All right. Another timeout because I'm running all those tanks, so that's expected. Okay, let's see how everyone did. Okay, so I made 12 clones and I got 20 snowman out on the left. And on the right, I made 13 clones and got 22 snowmen out. So again, seeing that little bit of disparity, but tons of snowmen. And yeah, I mean, percent damage, it's not terrible for an artifact. I think the more interesting thing here is going to be the slowdown ability. Um, you can tell it's, yeah, on the right, got a little bit of healing. Doesn't seem like it's going to really be that kind of healing and damage isn't going to be a huge game changer, but it's certainly nice. I mean, I would take this over the arena summon healer artifact for sure. But if you have, all the really good ones, I don't know if this one will, if it'll definitely make the cut or not. But let's go move on to a more real test. My regular squad, before I went through and I beat everyone up until the silent one from the dungeon. So let's see if now, using the snowman, if I can beat that squad that I couldn't before. The artifact that I'm taking out is the spinning top, which is a pretty good artifact, but also it was the obvious one that should be taken out if the snowman is going to stick. All right, so I still lost, so nothing really changed. It's really similar result as the spinning top compared to the snowman. I want to see how it performed. I got one snowman because this is on just a regular fighter now. Now I'd like to run that same test again, but now I'll put the snowman on sort of the spot of honor. Before I just had it here on a regular fighter, my cultist, and I'm going to put it on the fighter that my illusionist clones, which in this case is my legionnaire. So I'll put the snowman here, and then if the legionnaire and the illusionist are alive, the snowman should be getting triggered every 7 seconds, opposed to every 17 seconds. And then that shouldn't even. And then I'll put the artifact that was on the illu over here. So again, the thing that's getting replaced is the spinning top. And runes back where they were supposed to be. So what's cool about this is that it slows down artifact abilities and gear abilities, but not set abilities. And the 7-second clone, that is a set ability. So I'll be getting a snowman every 7 seconds, even if I was going one-on-one against another snowman, which I bet I'm not. Yeah. All right. I mean, I still lost, so didn't make me better, didn't make me worse. Or actually, well, it didn't make me better. That's all I know so far. All right, so yeah, I still lost. Got 2 snowmans out because I lost pretty quickly. This player is definitely better than me. Now let's do one last test. While I'm still set up the same way as I was before, I want to go back and fight one of the squad challenge squads that I had beaten before when I had the spinning top on and not the snowman. Make sure that I'm not actually worse with the snowman. I have a feeling it's about the same. Yeah, yeah, it's the same. So the spinning top is a good arty, so replacing spinning top with the snowman ended up being about the same for me. So I would say that this is also a good arty, but probably not going to be a huge game changer. Like everyone just absolutely has to be running it. But definitely, if you don't have all the arena artifacts yet, you don't have a ton of different event artifacts, then I think this would definitely be worth using, worth trying for sure. But if you already have a lot of good stuff, maybe just kind of, I think what a lot of people will be doing is just kind of playing with it, testing it out for a couple week or so, and then it's going to end up on a B team player. So I'll cut it here. It is Christmas. In conclusion, I'm going to say it's pretty good. Not, best in game, everyone's going to be using it level good like Dragon Eye or Sun and Moon, but still a good artifact. At least that's my impression. I, of course, could be wrong. Only time will tell. For me personally, at this point, I have every arena and every past event artifact that I want, and this is still going to stay, at least for a little while, my 7-man squad. Like I just said, this will replace the spinning top for me. These tests showed it performing at a similar level, so if they're similar, then I prefer this one because the spinning top has a lot of randomness, which is something I like to avoid. But on the other hand, the next interesting artifact that comes out, unless the snowman ends up working really nice, then this would probably be the first one that gets switched out. What probably has me most optimistic about the snowman's chances of lasting to spring is that I've been meaning to add the Emerald Dynasty ring since I added a cultist to my squad. Only reason I haven't done that already is that I was saving a few recrafts to do all together and make a video. So maybe I'll go full slowdown squad and really try to milk that Emerald Ring's ability. That could be a fun gimmick to run for a while, but probably all of that will end up just being something I do for fun for a little while, and I'll go back to more simple meta squad. All right, well, that's it. I encourage anyone to give this new artifact a try. I think it's definitely worth trying. And I hope the video was helpful in getting a look at the effects and animations and cooldowns. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you next year.